Hi, everybody. It's Dale Walsh, the Poetic Warrior. Welcome to Straight, Sane, and Sober for another week. And just glad to have you here. And this week, our guest is a very courageous young lady named Pili Ibanez, who has been through a lot of stuff with anxiety and bipolar and stuff like that. But, hi, Pili. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Very
Okay,
well.
thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and we're looking forward to a great discussion. And don't be nervous. We'll get through this fine. So, but and we're going to start with the poem as we always do, and it's called "In Poetry a Certain Solace," and it goes. Trying to make circles into squares, I'm lost among daily affairs. As couples break off into pairs, while intense flame of lust flares into a game of lovers' snares, full of sly gambits and dares, creating an unabashed series of stares at beauty who is most fair, posing in birthday suit completely bare, in bedchamber of my mind, to beloved I'm suitor most kind. If only I could truly find her for whom I've always pined, since my spirit away I signed in the years long gone behind, when my ideas over all shined, and gold of psychosis I mined, before the pills my brain realigned. So that's what I call a Dale, and that's a form that I came up with myself. But how are you, Billy?
Okay. Sorry?
How are you?
I'm okay. I worked in the morning today and then I had a rest and it's raining here in Scotland.
So
So
you're in
we have
Scotland.
rain today.
So what kind of work do you do?
Well, I'm working as a support worker in the community. So I go to different houses uh, and we support different people, different disabilities. So we have people with learning disabilities, people with cerebral palsy as well. Just a mix. I have been doing this for a long time.
How so a few years, or how long you been doing it?
Well, I came to Scotland. I'm from Spain. I came to Scotland around 13 years ago, and since I came here, I started doing support work. So I
Right.
had been doing work with autistic people. I have worked with dementia as well. Quite a big variety of people.
And so your English is excellent.
No, it's not. Sometimes
You
it
have a little
depends.
accent. You
It's
have a
not that
little
good.
accent, but you have like very good control of the language. So that's what's important.
Well, when I'm not nervous, it's better, even better. But my English, when I came to Scotland, it was quite poor. It was
Right.
really difficult for me to talk by phone or when I was listening to other people. I was really struggling very much. Also, the Scottish accent, but now it's easy peasy.
Scottish accents are very hard for everybody. I mean, people
Yeah.
come to to the United States from Scotland, and everybody says, "What is he saying?" Because the accent is so strong. But
Yeah.
so, uh, why don't you like tell us a little bit about your story and just
Well,
s-
yeah. Well,
start.
yeah. I left Spain when I was I left my town when I was 18 years old and I went to study to another city and I studied something that is called social pedagogy and I it's something it's not very known degree in UK but it's quite known in other countries in Northern Europe and it's something like how to teach a teacher to teach. So you study things like sociology, psychology, and education at the same time. And I did my last year. I went to Sweden with a grant from the university, and I finished my degree there.
Okay.
And 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 then I stayed for another year working in social services in the city of Jönköping, and I met refugees mostly of them they were women from Egypt and Iraq, and that was when I started working supporting people. And after that, I went to different countries, and I ended up in London. And I was a little, I told you this, I was a little bit escaping from myself without knowing that I was doing it. I was quite naive. I was young, naive. I was very shy. Right now, I'm not half of what I was 20 years ago because I'm 42 now. And I learned a lot. But yeah, I was escaping. I was not well. I was for long periods of time depressed without knowing that I was depressed. So I remember walking in the street and thinking, like, maybe this is how everyone feels.
Right.
And for a long time, that was my thought. So just for some years, say 10 years, I was here and there, changing jobs. And basically, I was never satisfied. But my problem was on me.
Well, that reminds me when I was first hospitalized, I actually had a job as a pro. You know frisbee. You know what frisbee is?
Yes.
Well, I had a job as a pro frisbeeist lined up, and I wanted to get out of the hospital and go down to South America, to Central America to throw frisbee and become famous. So my doctor always said there's no geographical separation from your problems, and
Yeah,
that always
exactly.
stuck with me, and it seemed like that. So you really moved around all of Europe, right? Have you ever been to any place outside of Europe or not?
Well, I was living in Uruguay for some time. Uruguay,
Oh, okay.
in South America. And it was that time that I was just trying to find my place, but at the same time, my place was just inside me without knowing. And
Right,
there was a before and after. It was 2016 when I had one big episode with my bipolar and I had psychosis. And after 2016, it is when there was a change in my mentality about what I had to do about my problems. And then I started just learning and looking after myself and reaching out as well, like asking for help to doctors and everywhere because I had done therapies, you name them. I had read books. I had been online. I had been talking with people with my same problems. And there are many. The social media is a good place for this to connect with people with your same problem. So for now, I can say that I fit somewhere because I have now like a network with people that understand me, I understand them, and we can just share ideas, thoughts, we can support each other, and that has been thanks to social media.
so
Um,
hey, have you met them in person or is it all social media?
no, not at all. No, uh, my last episode was actually it was this summer. We are in August. 1 month ago, it was when everything started fading down. But then on April this year, I stopped my medication because my hair was falling out. And so I had been taking the same medication for 4 years. It was a mood stabilizer. And one of the main side effects is hair loss. So I could see patches with no hair. So I stopped the medication, and 3 weeks later, I was in an episode. So everything came, all the symptoms.
Now, were you hospitalized during the episode?
No, no,
Have
I
you?
even didn't go off sick. No.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Go on. So, okay, so you had the episode and you were losing your hair. So, how did they resolve? Did you resolve the episode?
So
Obviously.
the thing is that So I saw my head. Well, actually, I was talking with someone, and that person started looking at my head because I was aware that what was going on, but I was not that self-conscious. I was just like letting go. But that person was looking at my just straight here. Now my hair is growing after 3 4 months. I can see it's growing. Anyway, I got upset and I stopped cold turkey, and I thought I could manage without medication. Just because when you are on meds, you are settled and you think you are okay. You need to stop the medication to realize why you were actually stable.
Right.
So I was just trying to have the major trigger for people with bipolar is stress. So if you are too busy at work, if you have some kind of problem with your partner, or that can trigger an episode. My trigger was someone that shouted at me. So I was not on medication. I was weak. I was vulnerable. And there was
Right.
an incident. Someone shouted at me, and then the first thing to come was anxiety. And then one symptom after another. So I stopped sleeping. Um, I became overwhelmed. And then I had times of depression. So my bipolar episodes are mixed episodes. And I cycling, I go from depression to hypomanic, like very quick.
Right.
It's quite chaotic. So
Well,
anyway, I found doctors and so on, and I had to wait for doctors to go to phoning me back. So waiting for doctors to phoning me back, that was 3 months.
right. Well, it
And
makes
now,
me. No, go on. And now,
no,
well, I was just going to say that that's how my psychosis begins. It's just like a little pebble, and then before you know it, you have a landslide, and it's just like the symptoms and the things just
exactly.
build up, and so, but I really admire the amount of insight you have into your illness because that's a very rare thing, Pili. It's like most people don't have insight into their, it took me a long time to get insight into my illness, but I guess you've been dealing with it for a while, but it's admirable the amount of insight you have.
I have a lot of that but because what I told you, because since 2016, that it was when I had my psychosis, I started working on myself, and that's why I have this anxiety about my illness. But I don't have only bipolar. I have post-traumatic disorder, and I have generalized anxiety disorder. So I have three diagnoses, and I am able to tell apart my symptoms. So I know when I have one symptom, I know it's my bipolar. I have another one, I know it's my trauma, and so on. But to get to this, the work you have to do with yourself is, imagine, it's huge. It's huge, and it took me years. And even knowing my illness, I still fall ill, of course.
Right,
And I become ill mostly because of triggers outside myself, no? And it can be just someone that is rude to me that can trigger my episode.
right.
That's why it's so important to be kind with everyone.
Absolutely. And are you back on Did you find an alternative medication that you're back on now?
Yes. So I was in a mood stabilizer, and I am now in an antipsychotic. And it's helping me because like I cycling this quick. So I go from depression to hypomanic very quick. I mean hours. So I can be depressed in the morning, and then in the afternoon you can just talk to me, and I can just telling you jokes non-stop.
Right, right,
So the antipsychotics is helping with these swings. And I'm quite happy because it's working already, so I am settled. The only thing is that I'm putting on weight like 4 or 5 kilos in 3 weeks. So
Right.
I have more appetite. So I hope to start doing something about it.
Have you
Like eat something.
do you work out at all? To
No,
keep
I
off the
should.
weight? That's something you might start doing. And they
Yeah,
say
I should.
exercise is great for the mind too. So I don't know if they have gyms in Scotland, but even if you just do like 10 minutes of exercises like dancing around and doing push-ups and jumping jacks and everything when you wake up, that can be very good and it'll help your weight.
I need to do something. So yeah, you're right. And yeah, we have gyms here. Yeah,
But
yeah, I need to do
so
something.
So you say you're a rapid cycler, so that means that your bipolar symptoms can like go like up and down all during the day for weeks, right? And until you get them under control, or how long does the rapid cycling last?
So actually, you don't only you can have mixed episode is when you have depressive symptoms and a hypomania or mania symptoms at the same time. So imagine someone that has suicidal thoughts. So you can have suicidal thoughts here, but you are full of energy and you just want to run the marathon. So you're
Right,
having symptoms that are hypomanic ones and depressive at the same time. That is a mixed episode. And then you have rapid cycling. Rapid cycling is when you go from depressive episode to a hypomanic episode. And the depressive episode can last hours or days, and then you go to hypomania. That is rapid cycling. But you have also ultra rapid cycling. And ultra rapid cycling is the most of the most because it's just during one day you go depressive and hypomanic like this,
right.
just in one day. But in my case, my episode lasts hours or days.
So how does the hypomania manifest itself? I mean, like, do you just get happy, or do you get like, do you go shopping? Do you spend a lot of money? Because that's the way, like a lot of people do. They spend a lot of money, or they go shopping, or they eat a lot, or they just like. How does your mania manifest itself?
So it's like for everyone is different. So this is just me, but each person with bipolar is different. For me, when I am hypomanic, I am full of energy. So I clean. I clean because I am at home and I don't know what I need to do something. I am very unsettled. So my body needs to move constantly. If I don't move, I get overwhelmed and I get mad and I just I need to move my body. So when you are at home, you can clean. So I clean, or I go outside and I start walking. Another symptoms is that your mood is elevated. So you can just be happy. You are telling jokes. You are like the how you say the center of the party. And you buy, like, you feel this urge to buy stuff, like it's you don't know why, but it is something. It's like a necessity to do it. It's like if you
Right,
are thirsty and you need to drink water. So when you are like that, you need to buy, and you buy, and actually you are not satisfied. You want more and more and more, and it's quite risky. People can go on debt easily. Um, and then if you go, I mean, if the hypomania goes out of control, you can have hallucinations, or you can go to mania and lose the control of yourself and start having delusions, and so it's quite dangerous.
right. Well, actually, my doctor called my illness for 20 years. He called it psychotic bliss because I would be in a constant state of happiness but in cycle, I very rarely get depressed. But I was just like so happy all the time, and he put me in the hospital because I was still happy, and it's like, what's going on? It's like, what's wrong with being happy? And but uh, sometimes I think that like the psychiatric world is like a little too hard on people because they think people should be depressed. They think people shouldn't be happy. And if you are happy, they look at it as abnormal. I mean, I know that I understand what you're saying about the hypomania, but I'm just saying, you seem like you're very like just a happy person in general, and it's like you know it's like hard because I, when I was happy, when I would get too happy, I'd be put in the hospital for no reason other than my doctor judged me that I should have been depressed.
Yeah. Yeah, but when I say I feel happy, it's not happy like you should be happy. It's an overwhelming happiness that it's hard. It hurt you. It's
Right,
uh, it's overwhelming. You cannot, if you keep going being hypomanic, you will crash at some point. It feels too deeply. It feels too deeply that is painful.
right.
That is the
So,
thing with bipolar. We feel in high definition. So when you feel when no, not you because of your illness, but when someone feels sad, we feel depressed. When someone feels happy, we feel euphoric. But euphoric is not what people think it is. Euphoric can damage
right,
yourself and people around you. So it's a really serious illness, and an illness that is stigmatized because people don't understand.
right.
And yeah,
Well, my doctor used to say to me, I go into his office and say I'm depressed, and he'd say, "Good, now I can work with you." So, but
yeah,
uh, but I there was always a question of whether I was bipolar or schizophrenic. That's basically what schizoaffective is like schizophrenic and bipolar at the same time. But uh, so Adam asked, "Are you okay now? Have you recovered from your episode last month?" Or
yes, my anxiety was really bad when I was in the episode. So I was struggling going to supermarkets, couldn't buy food in supermarkets. So I was buying food in petrol stations. And now I'm taking the antipsychotic and I'm taking anxiolytics just as needed, and I'm taking sleeping tablets if I need it as well. So my main medication is one tablet per day, and I prefer this way. So with the antipsychotic, I can control all my diagnosis. And
right,
then if one day I need something more specific, because maybe my anxiety is out of control, I take something just for the day, and and that is how I'm doing, and I'm doing it really well, really well. Yeah, I'm very happy, and I'm working, and it's fantastic.
that's one thing. That's nice. So when you have like an episode or something, do you take off work or do you like work through it, or
This
is it
occasion,
impossible to work or what?
in this occasion, no. In this occasion, I didn't go off sick. First of all, because I have a job that I'm with a routine. I know my routine. My everyday is exactly the same. So I know the people I support. I know what's gonna happen every day, and that helps a lot with my anxiety, for example. Or so when I am in an episode, if everything is under my control, I can just doing it. But I need to get help as soon as possible, of course, because I am always on the edge or something worse.
Right.
So, but in this occasion, no, I didn't go off sick. In other occasions before, yeah, I went off sick because I was unwell, like everyone else that is ill. So I went off sick, I got recovered, and I went back to work. But
So,
in this occasion, no.
so I wanted to ask you about 2016. What happened? You said that was like a turning point in your life where you realized that you needed help and you realized you had an illness. So, could you tell us about what happened in 2016? Or
Yeah, well, so I told you before that year, what I had been doing, it was escaping from myself. So I was not happy. I was having long depressions, but I was not taking care of myself. I was not paying attention to my mental problems. I was just surviving. In 2016, I started having hallucinations. So my anxiety was terrible. So the first hallucination I remember, I was in the park. I had a dog, and I was my anxiety was really bad already, and I was already waiting to see the psychiatrist, but it was I needed to wait for months until seeing a specialist. So I was in the park, and I could see there were kids playing in these swings for kids,
right,
and so they were playing. There were three or four, and at some point, I looked back and I could see them running to me with the sticks in their hands, calling my name, and with anger in their faces. So I was, I think my heart stopped. I started running, and so I started running, and then I looked back again, and I could see the kids were again in the swing, like nothing had happened.
right,
And so I went home and I sent an email to the community mental health center that I never been there before. I was waiting in a waiting list. And I said to them, I don't know what I see, if what I see is real or not. I'm having doubts. And I think that helped to see the specialist sooner.
right.
Um, and then that year was when I couldn't leave my place. My anxiety was just terrible. I remember like opening the door just to go outside with my dog, and feel dizzy, feel my heart beating to 150. Maybe 150 is too much, I don't know.
Right.
And I was chaos. It was chaos in my head. I was losing the control. My reality was disappearing.
Right.
So so I started seeing the psychiatrist finally. I knew already that I had bipolar, but he gave me the PTSD diagnosis and my anxiety disorder. We started looking for medication. I tried, I don't know how many, 7 maybe. And because of
Right.
side effect or because they didn't work, I just kept going. And at some point, I tried lamotrigine, that was the mood stabilizer, that then after years, it got me this hair problem.
Right.
And so that's why after 2016, I started just looking after myself, and I went to different therapies. I don't know which one helped me the most, but I think what happened was that I learned something from here, from there, and now I am in the place I am, and I can manage.
So when you say how was your personal hygiene during this time? Did you like stop taking showers and making your bed and taking care of your apartment, or did that stay constant?
Was well, what I remember being like in another planet. I remember like it was. I remember my neighbor. I had a neighbor, and he said to me once, "Do you have a twin?" He thought I had a twin, a sister. He thought so, and because I was two different people.
Right.
So one day you could see me. smiling, talkative, here, there. I remember stopping people in the street, strangers, and talk to them, like for no reason.
Right.
But for me, it was the most natural thing to do. And then the following day, I was I was angry, I was miserable, I was not talking to anyone. And so this neighbor said to me, "Do you have a sister, a twin sister?" So it was very chaotic.
So this is a let's this is a book. It's called The Trauma Art of Trauma Relief by this lady named Kayleen Wright. I'll send you the book, but she has like a daily program coaching in the United States for people with PTSD. So uh,
Yeah,
and it's very insightful. So, but tell us about your you've talked about this a little bit, but tell us about your general anxiety. I mean, how does that man? I mean, you said that was the anxiety what caused you to hallucinate, or was it the bipolar, or the or
I think probably, maybe, I don't know because I'm not a doctor, but I think it was a mix. It was my anxiety and it was my bipolar. I think it
right,
was a mix because that year everything was together. But my trauma or my PTSD it affect me. My PTSD is related to something very specific, something that happened different times, the same thing different times. So my trigger is quite specific. So if I see, I hear, or I read something related to that, all my symptoms come. My symptoms are depression, so I can go fall into a depression. I get a lot anxiety. My heart can beat fast. I can have pseudo seizures. Pseudo seizures are like they look like a seizure, but they are like an emotional response of your body to distress. So I can fall on the floor and have convulsions just because I have hear or see something related to my trauma. So, and all of this happens if I am not on medication. But that's why my antipsychotic now is working really well because just taking one tablet, I can function. So I still avoid triggers. I do my best to avoid triggers. But if for some reason I see a trigger, I'm gonna have a response. So my trauma is gonna respond, but probably I'm not gonna fall and have convulsions. I will just run away probably. And my anxiety is quite physical as well. My anxiety is painful. Like my body, it can be in pain and I feel fatigue. If I had been accumulated too much anxiety, I can have panic attacks without triggers.
right.
Um, but all of this is, for me, medication is very important. And it helps me because I have a chronic illness. Medication helps me with all of this, but
Yeah,
also, yeah, also everything I know as well.
well, that's very important too. That the self knowledge and the self awareness for me was like crucial in like recovery. But uh, do you have any other? I mean, you talk about medication. Do you have any other like rituals or things that you do, such as meditation or deep breathing? Or I mean, say you're having an anxiety attack. How do you how do you get over it? I mean, do you have like methods or things that you do to like help you to overcome it?
Well, first of all, I moved to the countryside, so I'm not living in a city anymore. So where I live is quite peaceful, and that was important for me because if I get too stimulated, I can suffer. So I live in a small town. I'm very grounded person. I live the present as it comes. That is very, very important. Mindfulness it has helped me a lot.
Right.
And, and what I do, I don't watch TV, for example. I don't watch news. I can, I am quite fan of these rain sounds and firecrack sounds that makes me relax as well. And in general, I'm trying to have the most simple life as possible because I
Most
consider
stress-free
I
life,
have
right?
a sorry.
Most stress, most stress-free life. Just like minimize the amount of stress you're under, right?
Yeah, I do that because I have accepted that I am ill. I have an illness. And it's like any physical illness. If you have a physical illness and you need to look after yourself, maybe you stop eating this or you stop doing that or you look for a treatment. My treatment, I am the same. My treatment is to try to avoid stress. And that means, well, I cannot be, watching news all day because that is going to trigger me. And I accept that and it's fine and it's part of my personality as well. It's how I am. But for I think the most is to be grounded and I live the present. I live not even the present. I live the moment.
Right.
So so now I'm living here right now talking to you. I'm not thinking what it will come later. That helps me a lot. And when I feel really well, when I feel settled and well, I enjoy the moment and I am grateful.
So how are things these days? There's a, you say that you're basically you're happy with your antipsychotic medication, but are you still having symptoms? Or I guess that probably goes along most of the time, right?
I'm not in an episode, and then my episode stopped as soon as my medication started working. That was like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I know it's working because I feel my head is clear. I don't have any kind of cloud over my head, and I can think clearly. I don't have mood swings, so it's just me. I get up in the morning and I am the same one all day. Um, so I'm not in an episode, but that doesn't mean I am cured because I'm not cured, and that's never gonna happen. So of
Right.
course there are days that I can swing at some point, or you're gonna say something to me that is gonna upset me, and maybe I'm gonna cry. I cry maybe for things that for people are small things, but for me are big ones, right? Because I'm quite sensitive. Maybe I'm sensitive as someone that doesn't have any kind of mental illness as well. But I'm talking about me. I'm quite happy right now with how things are. But also because if I compare this with how it was before or years ago, but there's no comparison. So I need to be grateful and happy. So everything is
So
fine.
so what's how would you how would you judge, or how would you like talk about your experience with doctors and with psychiatric professionals? Has it been a pretty good situation, or is it have you been happy with the doctor you've had, and you know have you been satisfied with the type of treatment you're getting?
I have I have met good and bad ones. The problem is that when they're good, they're really good, and when they're bad, they're terrible. There is nothing in the middle. So in my medical records, there are big mistakes, and I'm gonna tell you one. So this was, I think, 2 3 years ago. I was ill, and for some, I don't remember if I think I was taking medication. It didn't work. I was ill, and I was at home, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was having suicidal thoughts, and and I found the 999 is the
911.
NHS.
Oh,
No, here is 999. I
oh,
think.
okay, 999. Okay.
So I phoned for an ambulance, and the ambulance came, and the police came, and I went to the hospital. When I was in the hospital, they phoned my psychiatrist, and my psychiatrist said to give me Valium. So that's what I got. I never got any phone call the day after. I was not hospitalized. I came back home the day after.
Right.
No one phoned me. No one phoned me. My doctor never phoned me. I was quite surprised. So after a while, I asked for my medical records. And that day, instead of reading what happened, then the ambulance came home. It was writing that I went on my own to the hospital and that I was okay, that I was not feeling well. I don't remember. It said something about headache. I don't remember.
They
But it
say
was
you were.
totally,
They say you were hysterical or something, or
no,
they
no, no,
can't.
no. No, the medical, what happened was that they forgot to write in my medical records that I was in the hospital. So someone made a mistake. They never brought down that. So they never contacted me the day after or 2 days after, or they never follow my case. So
Right.
when I asked for my medical records, someone found out, oh, this is not here. So they had to write something like, yeah, I was in the hospital, but I went on my own, which it was false, and I went because I had headache. So when I read that, I think it's not only a mistake, it's totally false. And it
Right.
can actually, I was not thinking about me, I was thinking about other people, the damage that can do to other people with mental problems for your treatment, for your future.
Right.
So that was quite bad. And then I had a doctor, a psychiatrist. He was amazing. He was empathetic. Uh, he was following my case because I was ill. I think when you are ill here, it's something they don't do. They don't do right when you are ill. They just give you medication and they don't follow your case. And maybe they found you in 6 months. But what about between you start your medication and those 6 months? What is going on there? They don't know. And if you phone them, they don't phone you back. So it's quite messy, everything. And you are just at home suffering. And so my experience with doctors, or really good or really bad.
Right. Well, I find the same thing. I've had good doc. I had a doctor tell me one time, "There's nothing wrong with delusions," and it's like, I'm like going, "What are you saying?" I've been fighting delusion for 20 years, and now you're saying there's nothing wrong with it, and I know that's not true. So, and then I've had well I had the same doctor for 22 years. He had a psychiatric program, and I was in his program for 5 years, and then he continued as my doctor when I got out. But yeah, it's doctors are sort of like medication. You got to be lucky to find the right
Yeah,
one.
it's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right. Um, yeah. So my doctor now is so. So.
Right.
It could be better. It could be worse.
Right.
So
So tell us about the therapies you've been through. Have you been through like cognitive behavioral therapy and psychoanalysis, or what kind of therapies have you been through?
I had done CBT. I had done hypnotherapy as well, and I have done this eye movement, this
Right.
stabilization. So I had done the three of them. For me, the one that helped me the most was the hypnotherapy. So I had a hypnosis, um, and it helped me. I was ill, I was very ill, and I went straight there just to try. From the minute one I finished, and the minute one I was feeling much better. And and then of course this is not for long. Well, this in particular is not for long term. They use this therapy for a relief, for a quite fast
Short term.
relief.
Short
Yeah,
term.
short term. And but it was fantastic because I was really ill and I needed something quick. And then I did the cognitive one, but this one, it was when I was in a bipolar episode, and it didn't help because the cognitive one, it says that there is a thought in your head, and then there is an emotion, and then there is a reaction. But when I am in a bipolar episode, there are no thoughts here. I have emotion first. It's difficult maybe to understand, but I don't think. I just feel. But there's no a thought there. So I was doing the therapy, and it was difficult for the therapist and for myself because she wanted me to fight with my thoughts when I was not having thoughts. I was just having emotions. So I think, but that is my case. I don't. For other people, it could be okay.
Did
And
Did you find that was especially true when you were in psychosis? I mean, because in my own experience, I agree. You know, when you're in psychosis, you don't think, you just like feel your emotions are like so overwhelming, and that's why
yeah,
you're psychotic.
exactly. Some people they forget that actually you are dealing with a mental ill person. Like some people they when I am ill, because if I am not ill, I am not. So I am just like you and me. But if I am ill, I am in an episode. Some people want me to behave, to talk, to act like if I was not ill, and it's not possible. I am ill. So sometimes it's difficult to also go to therapy when you are ill. But each person is different. And in my case, it didn't help. But the hypnotherapy, it really helped me. And
Right.
then this eye desestabilization movement, it helped as well with my trauma.
So
Um, yeah.
so what do you you sort of mentioned this, but uh, what like attitude, or what direction have you taken to fight your trauma?
With my trauma, it's more avoiding triggers. I avoid triggers. It's more my style of life. It's more my style of life. So I need to have a really simple life. And in general, I avoid crowded places. I avoid to see certain things, and that's why I don't watch news. And with my trauma, it's also a talk therapy with myself, and I am in a better place. For example, before I could feel guilty for things that it wasn't my fault because I was a kid, but now I don't feel guilty at all. So I know right now that I used to feel guilty because it was part of a symptom of my trauma. So now that is overcome. And so I have done a lot of work with myself as well and my trauma.
So
Um,
I find it interesting. Your I don't watch the news either. I refuse to watch the news. But so that I don't. Do you have a CNN in Scotland? It's like a news channel in the United States, but it's called CNN, and a lot of people call it constantly negative news. And so I was just wondering, is that part of your like self regulation and your self therapy? It's just, I meant, do you have affirmations that you say? Do you like try to like think positive thoughts all the time, or do you just like
and I'm very positive person. I am very, very positive. If you see me negative, it's because I'm not well.
Right.
But if I'm well, I am very positive and I only have happy thoughts. If I'm not having happy thoughts, it's because I'm not well.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I said to you. I have long conversations with myself and I talk to myself and I have my mantras and each day is a new beginning and all these kind of things.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Do you have like affirmations and mantras that you like practice
Well,
with every
I
day?
I had a mantra, but I think I forgot. But yeah, I forgot the mantra. But it was something like, "You are lucky, you are happy, you deserve it," or something like that.
Right. Well, one of the famous mantras that people talk about is every day in every way I am getting better.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah,
So
I like that one.
every day, every way I'm getting better. So, but yeah. So I don't really have mantras, but I always like try to be. I always am positive. People, say to me, you're so positive, and but that's because I know the dark side of myself, and it's like the dark side I'm not going to let it get out anymore. I've been out of the hospital. I had 15 hospitalizations, and I've been out of the hospital for 30 years, and it's just like
Yeah,
mindset, and just like saying, being aware of the illness, and I meant the last 5 times I went to the hospital, I admitted myself because I knew I was psychotic, and
yeah,
but just like the the I think the positivity comes from knowing in a lot of ways that how much I have overcome and how much I continue
exactly.
to overcome.
Yeah, for me it's the same. How strong I am after everything that has happened. How strong and amused about myself.
So, uh, okay, well, we're coming up on the end, but I just yeah. First off, I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I also want to compliment you on your courage and your
Thank
insight
you
and
very
your
much.
your
Hmm.
positivity and your just I can tell you're a very like sunny person, and a very happy person, and it's very
Yeah,
encouraging to see because so many people get so overwhelmed by their illness that they forget the
yeah.
light. They sink into the darkness.
Yeah, that's a message I wanted to say that everything passed and everything is a lesson as well. People that we have been in dark places, and when I say that dark places, people with mental problems, they know what I mean. It's always a lesson, and you just need to learn and be stronger for the next time.
Absolutely. And every time you get out of that dark place, you learn more.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, this it will happen to me. But yeah, that doesn't mean I will become ill again. I'm sure about it. But I am here to fight it. So
Right. Well, as I say,
yeah, thank you.
I've been out of the hospital for 30 years. So,
Yeah,
it's been a long journey for me, but I really admire your strength and your courage and your positivity and just
thank you so much.
just your determination to persist and to keep going.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me here and letting me explain my history to everyone.
Well, we have about 3 minutes left. So, any
Amazing.
parting thoughts?
And I
Something like
have 12. I have 12 battery, so it's
your
fine.
battery's slow.
I think we have enough. We have
Oh,
enough for three
but
minutes.
so why don't you like? I'm sure you like to say something to wrap up. So why don't you just say what you want to wrap up, and then we'll see you soon.
I, I just want to say to everyone with mental illness that you can do it. You got this, and every day is a new start. Look out for support. There are many people in your same situation, and we understand you. You are not alone, and that's it. And I have a TikTok profile account where I explain my history, and I give tips to people, and I talk about my personal experience. So everyone is welcome to follow me, and just good luck to everyone.
And how do they follow you, Pili?
Well, actually, I don't know exactly. You just go to TikTok and you can write Pili. It's Pili, and it's like six number one, like 11111. I think it's six number,
Right.
but maybe if they try with Pili and six number one, maybe they see my picture.
Oh, okay, so it's a TikTok account.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, what you just said, about everybody can get better. The motto of my coaching company is recovery is always an option.
yeah, of course.
So, but okay. Well, we'll let you get going, but thank you very much, and keep up the
Thanks.
good work, and never get discouraged, and and if people want to contact you, they can contact you through TikTok, right?
Yeah, they can go there and write Pili, and I think it's 1111 six times or seven. But
Okay.
yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. And just hold on. I'll close down the show, and then we can say goodbye to each other. But let me just let me do this. But it's been a pleasure having you, and we'll probably have you again if you're interested. And how do you feel?
Yes.
You said you were very nervous, so you feel okay
I
with the?
was, I was very nervous, but when I start talking, I don't stop, as you could see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So